Hey, Yinning at Life gang. It's Kimberley Roberts, your host here. And I'm so excited to deliver little bits of insight on living your best, most extraordinary life with, of course, Yin Yoga, traditional Chinese medicine, reflexology, and even mindset hacks. So thank you so much for pressing play on today's episode. Let's do this. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Yinning at Life podcast, where we are talking about all things Yin Yoga, traditional Chinese medicine, finding calm and balance in your beautiful 40 and plus body. So today I want to have a chat. I want to riff on something that many of us experience twice a year: the time change. Like, first of all, really, do we still have to deal with this? Like, technology has evolved substantially. So I don't understand why twice a year we have to change the clocks. So everybody always thinks, oh, yay, fall back. I get an extra hour of sleep. Woohoo. In the spring, it's like, this blows because I lose an hour. But here's the thing. Regardless, whether we're falling back or we're springing forward, it's weird. We feel off, we feel foggy, and sometimes we're like, I don't really understand why this is happening. So I want to talk about the why this is happening. This kind of extra tired but can't sleep kind of energy. There's something happening after the time change, but I don't really get it. Like, my digestion is weird. My cycle is off. Like, my emotions are, all over the place. Like, I'm telling you right now, you're not imagining it. The time change really does affect your body, not just your sleep, but it affects your organs, your emotions, and your overall energy rhythm in your body. So grab yourself a latte, get cozy, and let's unpack this, okay? So what's really happening? When the clocks shift, it's an hour. So we think, okay, it's only an hour. Like, how much of a difference can that make? Like, it's not like I'm traveling halfway across the world and there's like an 18-hour time change. That I get. But 1 hour? But here's the thing. And this is all stemming in traditional Chinese medicine meridian theory, okay? So when our clocks shift, our internal rhythm, okay, what Chinese medicine calls our body meridian clock, okay? We all have this internal meridian clock, and it gets a little scrambled up. So in traditional Chinese medicine, or I'm going to refer to it as TCM moving forward here, every organ has a 2-hour window when its energy peaks, okay? Think of it like a car on a highway. Just stay with me here, okay? So for example, I want to talk about 3 major organs, okay? Especially when it comes time to the time change: liver, lungs, and kidneys. So between 1 and 3 a.m., that is when our liver is at its energy peak, meaning it is traveling down the highway, okay? It's processing emotions like frustration and anger. It's dealing with like excess hormones in the body. It's filtering out all the toxins. And between that 2-hour period, it should be cruising along the highway, not hitting traffic jams, okay? And I'm going to talk about how that works. Just bear with me. We're going to go to the next one: lungs. 3 to 5 a.m. Now, our lungs are linked to grief, sadness, and letting go, which, especially at this time of year in the fall, we have a really hard time with the sadness and the letting go, because in a lot of countries, like, where I am right now in Canada, like, the trees are losing their leaves and everything is getting kind of bleak, and it's, like the days are shorter and there's less sunlight. So for some people, this can feel like everything is dying, right? And it can have a really heavy energy around it, especially when we don't have a lot of natural sunlight and our days are so short. Now, our kidneys, its energy peaks between 5 and 7 p.m. Now, our kidneys are so important in Chinese medicine because they store our vital energy, our jing, okay? And it's connected to fear and it's also connected to fatigue. So, if you think about these three organs, okay? And these peak times, this is when they're literally at their energy peak and they're supposed to be driving along, just cruising along the highway without hitting a traffic jam. But here's the thing. How many of us really have balanced organs and emotions? I don't know anybody. I even put myself in that category. We all do. So, is everything cruising along in those 2 hour periods of each one of those lungs? Unlikely. Unlikely. So, what happens in those 2 hour time frames, especially if you do have imbalance, is you're going to start to have magnified or amplified symptoms. So, for example, with the liver between 1 and 3 a.m., you might wake up feeling very frustrated, pissed off, angry, irritated, rageful, even maybe even resentful. Like, hello, I'm getting this rude 2 a.m. wake up call. Like, come on. Like, this pisses me off. You got hormones, fluctuating all over the place. And for women, if you're in perimenopause or menopause, it's just like, okay, this is like a roller coaster time, right? Lungs. If you're experiencing a lot of grief or a lot of sadness, or you're having a hard time letting go of something, whether it's someone or an experience or just anything in general that you're struggling with, letting go of, then during that time frame, those emotions and those experiences might be amplified. You also might have a harder time going to the bathroom at that time because the lungs are paired with the large intestine. So you might be constipated, or you might be the complete opposite. You might have diarrhea. Like, I'm just saying that during these time frames, things start to shift. And instead of everything cruising along the highway, it's like hitting traffic jams. Okay. And the traffic jams are like your symptoms. So, same thing with the kidneys. Between 5 and 7 p.m., a lot of people start to feel a major dip in energy. They start to feel extremely fatigued. And it's like, okay, it's 6 o'clock and I feel like I want to go to bed right now, right? We have no energy left in the tank. And this can also be when fear, if that's something that you're dealing with in your life, can be amplified. And you might start to have a lot more of that emotion coming up. So these are, things to start to look at during these, 2 hour periods. Is everything just cruising along? Or are you feeling, like XYZ symptom or XYZ emotion? So when we lose that natural balance of light and dark, rest and activity, right? Especially during this season, which I kind of call is the segue into the yin season, rest and renewal. These organs really start to feel the strain. And that's when you might notice you're you're waking up at odd hours, you're feeling moody, or you're just running on what I call sleep debt. Okay. And I'm going to be honest with you, sleep debt is real. So a lot of people have a misconception. Oh, I sleep like crap during the week, but I'll catch up on the weekend and I'll get it all back then. That's not how it works. Sleep debt can only be eliminated by consistently working at it. Kind of like the same thing with your credit card debt, right? How many people pay it off just like that? Yes, lots, but sometimes some people don't, and you got to wean it down, right? With sleep debt, you have to start to get consistent, nightly, good quality sleep. And while that might be, yeah, that sounds so simple, let's be real. Once you hit your 40s, you don't bounce back from sleep loss the way you used to, right? Your hormones are shifting. Stress recovery takes longer. Your nervous system stays on alert longer. You know why? Because it's been used to being on alert for so damn long. And so it's just used to it. That heightened sympathetic state becomes our normal way of existing. And when we're in that state, we don't sleep. So you're probably thinking now, well, dang, like, what do I do now? You soften, you start to slow down. You slow the F down. And this, honestly, as we approach the late fall and winter season, this is where yin yoga and breath work become medicine, daily medicine. Instead of fighting your tiredness with more coffee or pushing yourself or doing more, yin yoga invites you to balance that overactive yang energy that you've had accumulated from spring and summer with stillness and surrender. And when you get still and you surrender, guess what? You let go. When you rest into poses like, for example, butterfly pose, where you bring the soles of your feet together and you open up your knees. You can do this lying down, or you can do it seated and forward fold. Or you do caterpillar, which is a seated forward fold with the legs extended out in front of you. You gently start to stimulate meridian channels like the liver, the lung, and the kidneys. These exact channels that need support right now. I mean, right now in TCM, we are in the energy of the lung meridian. So this is lung season. But having said that, the liver and the kidneys still need support. And when you start to add slow and lengthened exhalations, like maybe you're going to count in 4 counts as you breathe in and maybe 6 counts as you breathe out. Like if you're in a yin pose and you're breathing this way, you are literally rewiring your body back to calm, shifting it out of sympathetic and back into parasympathetic. And if you're waking up consistently between 1 and 5 a.m., your liver and lungs are asking for space to process. They're asking you to surrender and let go of maybe the control, the grip, the holding on, the irritation, the frustration, or maybe it's the heavy sadness or grief, but they're asking for space. This is why you're waking up. Instead of that car on the highway cruising along, it's hitting traffic jam after traffic jam. And if you're dragging your ass around in the afternoon or early evening, your kidneys are like, hello, could we please be replenished? Like maybe with a short meditation or even a quiet walk after dinner instead of scrolling on your phone or numbing out on Netflix, right? Like we can all carve off 15 minutes a day. I guarantee you, you are spending at least 15 minutes of your day scrolling on your damn phone or binging on Netflix, and you can cut that out. You can. 15 minutes is actually a lot of time every single day to consistently start to bring your body back into balance. And yin teaches us that healing doesn't always come from doing more. Sometimes it comes from doing less with a deeper presence, with more awareness. Like, I want you to ask yourself something. Like, really pause for a moment and ask yourself, like, what emotions are showing up for me lately? Like, what am I noticing? Am I always angry or irritated? Am I always sad? Am I always scared? Am I always worried? And then ask yourself again, well, where do I feel these emotions in my body? Like if I think about if I'm feeling frustrated, like where am I actually feeling it physically in my body? And what do I need to release before bed tonight? Because I will tell you, surrendering and letting go before bed really nourishes your nervous system and your subconscious mind. It just allows you to kind of just like wipe the slate clean instead of your subconscious mind over analyzing and processing over and over again. You don't need to do that. I will tell you, your body is always communicating with you, always. You just need to pause and ask. But when we're over 40, I'm going to tell you that these questions, they're not indulgent. They're actually really essential because our bodies are more sensitive to energetic shifts and our emotions live deep inside within our connective tissue and fascial layers. Okay. And so, even a few minutes, like 15 minutes of yin and breath work before you go to bed, can do so much for your sleep than that extra freaking hour of Netflix ever could. Seriously. Or that scrolling on Insta. And so, you know what? Like, if you're sitting there and going, you know what? Like, this is really resonating with me. Like, I have a whole library inside the SolefulYin yoga app devoted especially for emotions and organs. So, emotional health and organ support. Practices that are designed specifically to balance and help support liver, lungs, kidneys through these seasons, as well as your spleen and your heart, like all of the organs. And a lot of my practices blend yin with acupressure points or with reflexology points, and of course, breath work to help your body release, restore, and realign. So tonight, instead of like pushing yourself through that tired but wired feeling, and you know exactly what I mean by that, right? Like you're so exhausted, you can't even keep your eyes open. But then, you know what? Your head hits the pillow and you're like wide eyed, wired, and bushy tailed. So instead of like just going to bed and feeling like that, unroll your yoga mat, dim the lights, okay? Put your phone away and give your energy clock, that internal meridian clock, permission to reset. Because just like you have to change the time on a clock and you have to reset it sometimes with new batteries, kind of got to do the same thing with your body. And I will tell you that your future self, the well rested self, is going to thank you. And that internal body clock is going to be like, hello, thank you for the reset. I really needed it. But I want to reiterate that, especially when it comes time to your sleep, don't think that you can just catch up on sleep over the course of like a couple of weekends and think you're good to go. You can't pull that crap off when you're over 40. You could do it when you were in your 20s, but I'll tell you, when you're in your 40s and hormones are shifting and the nervous system has stored so much heaviness, you can't get away with that. You need to consistently take time every single day to nourish your nervous system, to release the emotions that your body is holding on to. And of course, the tension that comes along with it that's held in the connective tissue, right? And for most of us who are sitting all day long, staring at screens, being overstimulated by that, like, isn't that so much better to just come on your mat and ditch your phone than stare at it and scroll on IG or binge on Netflix? Like to me, like I'm sorry, but when I'm over, like I'm over 40 and it's like there gets to be a point in your life where you know what? Like my health is the most important thing and I'm willing to do everything that I can and I'm going to invest in all the ways that I can. And if you're not sleeping well and sleeping well consistently, I will tell you something. You're going to age a lot faster. That vital jing, that vital essence, that vitality, that longevity that's stored in your kidneys is going to deplete a lot faster, which means essentially you're not going to live as long. So do yourself a favor, invest in your health. So this is my little riff on sleep, on the TCM body clock. If you enjoyed this episode, share it with a friend who's been yawning out throughout the whole week, or maybe just leave a note on the podcast to help others find this podcast. And you know what? Keep breathing, keep softening, keep yinning at life. There is something that is so incredible that's happening in the Soulful Yin world right now. The Soulful Yin Yoga app, an app that is designed to serve people over 40 who are craving calm, who are craving better sleep, who are craving ease in their body, in their minds, and in their lives, who want deep flexibility and mobility in their body, who want to feel good in their body, who want to live a life that is beyond extraordinary at the age of 40 and way beyond into the 50s, 60s, even the 80s. The Soulful Yin app, I invite you to come in, join the membership, and start to explore and discover how Yin Yoga, along with reflexology, acupressure, breath work, meditation, and even very exclusive Yin Yoga series that are all designed for people over 40 who are craving that simple, peaceful life. Thanks so much again for pressing play on today's episode. I look forward to seeing you in the next one.